Yes,
Finally.
I can see two
Hi.
screens now.
Yeah,
Hi, how are
okay,
you?
good. I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good. Staying at home, so it's
Yeah,
good when you get to take when you get to put on a different t-shirt that okay, and you feel you're working now.
only the upper attire,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
You can
that
wear
that that
whatever
that
you
is
want.
yes, exactly. That's what you sit on the
Below.
sit on the table. Yeah,
That's right. How have you been?
all good, Vaidehi. And so yeah, we know we all are suffering the same thing.
Yeah,
Yes, there are bigger problems in the world, but yeah, we sometimes people do become selfish, so which is bad, which is
yes.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
And the chalta hai attitude is what is the bigger issue, what we have. Hopefully, we will understand. Government is doing phenomenal job. Everybody's doing it. So we just have to
absolutely.
be sensible and don't step out. That's why we are doing live. Otherwise, I could have come to your doorstep and done this session.
Exactly, exactly. Otherwise, like we stay so close that we can actually literally meet and do these things, but we have to follow what government is trying to do. And more than
Yeah.
ourselves, I think we have to think about our community and society because they are equally important and we can't be selfish about these things. So I will ask all of you to stay at
Uh,
home as well. So it's
yes.
good that we're talking about different things, and I think this is the first time we are doing live together. So
Correct.
that's good.
So
And I think first time we are both doing live on Instagram. So if something goes wrong, I blame Instagram because it's not easy to
yeah,
do
yeah,
it on.
and and my daughter has taught me what to do. So I think I should be better off here.
Yeah, good. Okay, so let's start
Yeah.
talking a little bit about something obviously that we both love. And I know that you have been a big support to me and women's sports as well, right? And I know you for a long time now. So I want to talk to you about your thought process on women's sports and different topics about women's sports, especially the ones related to finance. So, something that I want to know from you is a current global scenario of finance in women's sports, especially sponsorships and brand related stuff. So, any thoughts globally and in India as well? So, just quickly, if you can tell us a little bit about what you think about
Yeah. So,
women.
so, so I think it's a right topic in and currently considering current situation as well.
Yeah,
I'll just take one step back about what women's sports mean to me. It is see, one of the most important thing for me is involvement of women in sports has actually is a complete drastic movement. See, in India, we are brought up in we are not living in the society where sports is a culture. So we
yeah,
don't have those many people following sports and पहले पढ़ाई करो बाद में पढ़ाई खेलो कूदो and all those things. Yes, it is
yeah,
changing. I'm not saying it is not changing. With a lot of success that we have seen, it is changing. Cricket has played a big role in the whole thing by helping the sports. At the same time, we can people say that okay, because of cricket, other sports have not grown. But yeah, whatever is said, it's finally a sports which is helping. And in women's sports also, while we've been hearing about PT Usha and Ashwini Ponappa, all those people we have heard of, it is still women's cricket is right now is also playing a good role in promoting the whole thing.
yeah,
Diana Edelji been a great person, people that know of. Other sports are picking up. Yes, hockey has picked up, badminton, table tennis. Everything is there. There is a scope for it. But what happens is the women in sports is a topic which is very close to me because yes, my mom has been an athlete. She play like athlete means very active in her sporting days during the school and college days.
yeah,
Yes, then in my family, it's like we all bond over a session in the swimming pool or going out and doing something. Yes, with the current generation, we do enjoy the mobile time as well with the family. But yes, that is what we are doing. So it is that healthy environment that we have seen around. It always helps. Believe me, for my whole schooling life, I never had a male sports teacher. I always had a ma'am. in sports
Yeah.
teacher as a sports teacher, and
That's
that too
true.
in 80s and 90s, right? So it's like it was fun for us to see that, and I have taken a different learning from them. So that changes the whole thing. What people say, but see again the commercial side, right? When I say women in sports, you don't need to be playing sports. You need to be involved in sports. What so
Absolutely.
when you look at that, okay, so what is the success of IPL? IPL is not only because Shah Rukh Khan is there or Priti Zinta is there or the best of the world is playing together. Yes, that is one part, but the biggest part is as per the Star and everybody is saying that 25 to 28% involvement of women as in stadia and fan has played a big role in growth of what IPL has, and that is where
Yeah.
the other sports are failing. To be very honest, honestly, why football cannot do it? Why can't do it? They are not still considered what they can do, because see for cricket they could take for them the fans were always there because the cricket was hammered onto our head while growing up. Other sports are
Yeah.
picking up, but when we are looking at how the other sports are picking up as well, these are the things which are playing important role, that women getting involved in the sport. The mom is so in US it was the fun term, right? It's soccer mom. Like mom is
Yeah.
saying that mom is taking her kids for the soccer and everything. It's a common term, soccer mom. So
Yeah.
we start seeing that in India. As you know, I run a small football club here, so we see there the moms coming, even though sometimes they come as a duty, sometimes they come out of the love for the kids or whatever, but they're taking interest because now
Yeah.
the kids are growing so fast with a lot of activities. So they have a lot of data, so they want the friendship with the kids also helps for them. I have girls kids playing in my football club there also. I see more moms getting involved in the whole thing. So women in sports for me is a bigger perspective than only women playing sports, because first you need to be the viewer or a fan or be involved in the ecosystem, then
Yeah.
I'm looking at a different side. So that is my first take on women in sports. And the most important thing of one thing that has I for with my work in other areas as well with sports is like what I have seen is we have lot of women or girls dropping out of sports from in the age group of say 12 to 15. That
Yeah.
is the biggest. So I was doing some survey and spoke to a lot of people around that. It's like we have the number is staggering, almost 77%. The girls drop out from sports. And again,
Yeah.
why? It
And
is not because yeah, it's
yeah, I
like
mean,
that you yourself is been part of that whole thing, right? So
yeah, yeah. And
it
the funny thing is that the time when they drop out is the time they actually peak, right? So when you're talking about girls dropping out in the age of, let's say, 15 till like 15 or 18 for that matter, that's the time they actually peak. That's the time that you see uh, rise in their abilities or achievements for that
yes,
matter. If you drop in during that time, then I mean it's a difficult thing because for the
yeah,
country and for
which
the sporting
correct.
ecosystem
Yeah,
because
we
then
cheer for
people
one
who
Hima
have
Das,
played.
we cheer for one PV Sindhu, but we don't know that 10 PV Sindhus couldn't become PV Sindhu because they did not have a right mentor. They did not have somebody to talk
Exactly.
to when they were going through the whole biological changes. There was nobody to talk to them. So it like we live in the taboos everywhere, right? So how do you break those? So for me, the women in sports it starts from the grassroots, where that is what we are talking about. If we do that, we are growing. It's like see, we know the simple thing, right? Sanitary pad, like I'll now move to the commercial part of it. Sanitary pads has been a necessity. It is not taboo. It doesn't need to be a taboo. It is the
Yeah.
requirement for a girl who is in the growing days. It is like for me, it is like my mom, my sister, my wife, my daughter. I know everybody is going to require that. All my friends are going to
Yeah.
require that to our girls.
Absolutely.
But in
Absolutely.
that, while we've been seeing all the advertisements with the girls in sanitary pad, but the moment PV Sindhu did the whole stay free ad, I think that is what I felt was a good game changer, and
Yeah.
uh, that made an impact. That's active life you can have. You don't
Exactly.
have to.
And that is an important issue. Like women's hygiene has been an important issue always, but unfortunately, people don't openly talk about it. They feel that there is like some taboo on it. Uh, I don't know what that is, but I think for women to go through what she goes through monthly, that is something very important. And having like being an active athlete, going out, playing international tournaments, national tournaments, during that time is, I think, one of the important things that needs to be discussed. And it's also one of the reasons why women or girls drop out after.
Exactly. So now with the whole emotion side of on the women in sports, if we to answer your question about the financial and sponsorship situation, so
Yeah,
I try to touch the topic because I think we both can talk on this for the whole day, and we will use the time well. So using that, that's why I took the Stay Free as an example, right? We are talking about Stay Free as a brand who has been
yeah,
very effective in market for longest of the time. I don't want to talk about uh, anything else about any other ways of using it, but I'm just saying that it is there. But PV Sindhu getting involved actually made a lot of difference. So if you're looking at financial side, sponsorship side, it is
yeah,
changing. It See, for India, the whole commercial side of sports is not more than 20 years old, right? 20 is also too much. Like for the biggest commercial that we know is Sachin Tendulkar. That's where the whole
yeah,
commercialization of sports happened, or
yeah,
that one particular individual happened. Beyond that, Dravid came into picture, Ganguly happened, Yuvraj happened, lot of things happened. But again, the big impact happened with Sachin. After Sachin, it was MS. After MS, it was Virat. So when we are
yeah,
seeing this shift happening, uh, it's not like other people, earlier people were not there, but the commercialization. See, sports has got two things. One is marketing of sport and marketing through sports. So people were marketing earlier. Time was spent into marketing of sport, but now we are talking about marketing through sports, and they started understanding importance. Sania Mirza
yeah,
has been a phenomenal person when he talked about branding. Then we talk about Saina Nehwal, and after that, what PV Sindhu did is like just the break the ceiling. It's not like she
yeah,
was not. It's not like she's the best that India ever got. It's like the biggest thing that India ever got. It's not like that. It is, yes. All anybody wears the India jersey, I have a big respect for that. And it's not. I'm not taking anything away from her playing capability, because the moment you succeed, you do better on field. That reflects in your brand as well. This
yeah,
that's the truth. But the way PV Sindhu did, and the Baseline Venture doing a phenomenal job with them. I think you have a session with Tuhin
yeah,
soon, right? So
yeah.
Baseline Venture doing a phenomenal job with managing her with starting with, see, Bank of Baroda, Bridgestone.
Absolutely,
So
I agree.
yeah. So those are things. So we are talking about commercial. So okay, she is getting it. What about the other people? Smriti Mandana started getting it. Yes, it is good. We are talking about Jemima. Oh, fun, phenomenal, fun character. 19-year-old kid, right?
Mm,
So she's getting it.
yeah,
Yes, it is good to see she getting the opportunities. And Mary Com started getting it, even though it's a fag end of her career, but she is getting it because of the movie actually helped her with the bigger recognition than the poor girl playing so many world championship and so many nationals. I think movie more helped her in the whole thing. The
yeah,
cult fit is doing a good job with her. Imagine the brands also be getting smarter about how to use it.
exactly.
Last year's World Cup, when Mitali was it was happening in Australia. That time,
Yeah,
the one of the Australian diamond brand tied up with Mitali Raj only for the World Cup campaign.
World Cup time. Yeah,
So the things are changing. People are started looking at it. Okay, now this is because again, why it is happening? Because the viewership is happening. Why it is happening? Because the broadcasters are playing more attention. Now we yes, there is a disparity of the payment and everything that it's happening in Hollywood, Bollywood, and sports everywhere.
yeah.
But
On
uh,
that point, I think, Sid, I have a different point of view when we talk about, pay disparity. Yes, there is a bias, but I think that bias is not because the brands are not willing to put in money. It's because society is not willing to watch women's sports. If
yes,
we as a
agree.
country decide to watch women's sport as much as men's sports, I think the brands will automatically start putting in money. So there, or even like the federations will also start paying them enough money, like men's men's tournaments or teams, you know. So I think that we need to watch more women's sports for them to get financially better. That's
Yes,
what my thought was.
no, it's
Yeah,
absolutely right. What the FIFA World Cup, the Women's World Cup, when the whole US erupted after
yeah,
the FIFA Women's World Cup, right? It is so. there is a change. Nike making one of my most favorite advertisement is Nike's advertisement about all the women in that thing, and they call me crazy kind of thing. They made the advertisement after Serena Williams delivered a baby and came back on the court.
Yeah,
That was the time they made the advertisement about a woman running a Boston Marathon, or
yeah,
or a woman coaching the NBA team. So woman
yeah,
being like an analyst with the Indian or any men's team, or you call that is the craziness, right? And that is
yeah,
what is nice. So it's a good onus on company like Nike. They have Nike or Reebok doing it with so many female brands and female athletes. I think it is showing pretty well. They did a very bad job with Anna Kournikova many years back. It was a very sexist advertisement, but I think the brands have understood what needs to be done. So yeah,
yeah.
and while I'm talking about the financial side, I'll come to this point also in later. I wanted to ask you one thing because you've been part of the whole grassroots part of it, right? You've been a
Yeah.
girl who've been an athlete, worked with AFC, worked in football, worked in running the whole thing for women in sports. What it takes to work with young girls in sports? That is my first question to you.
I think
It's all
it,
here. So, but I want to hear from you.
no, no, no. I think the question is very important because it is very challenging, to be honest. Uh, I think that I coach for my and 8 years to build a team of 60 girls, right? And if it was boys team, I would have been able to do it within a year. So it's about making girls come to you and play. It is, I don't know if this is biological or it's a debate about nature versus, right? If they are not encouraged at home, they don't go. But I think we need to make more efforts to bring younger to play on ground than boys.
And
Because
okay, how do you do that with your club and the parents there?
uh, honestly, I think I tried a lot. I tried with my college team and I succeeded because I wanted to play. And the issue with my college was there were just no girls in my college, right? There were very few girls. So I had to actually go and beg to all the girls in different classes, like mechanical engineering class, civil engineering class. So I had to beg them to come and play with me because I wanted to play in university tournaments, which I did eventually. But it took me a lot more effort than it would have if I wanted to create a team, right? And for my football club, I think I would give credit to my coach and the people who run football club. I think coach mostly because he has such a command over the people in the club itself, right? So he could ask the boys in the or the club to bring their friends, girlfriends from their college to come and play, at least to come and see how we practice. So steadily we started building one by one, building the team, and now about 5 to 6 young girls, 6 years old, 7 years old, which I'm very happy to say because it is very, very difficult to bring girls on the ground, especially in a
Yeah.
sport like football, which is very physical, which can get very physical at times. And it's played under sun, and the conditions are often not good. So, obviously, for right reason, parents are worried. I don't blame them. But the second thing that needs to be done is educate the parents of a girl child.
Correct.
Because if you don't educate the parents of girl child, then they won't understand the importance of playing. And
Okay.
it's not just for reaching international or national level, good for your body as well, right? You play any sport, it is good, right? So this needs to be spread, just told to them,
Okay. So no,
please
I
bring
have a
doctors
different angle.
on the ground. I mean, somebody like you who has sports may not need to be convinced, but I mean, 95% of the family members are concerned about.
Okay. So
Okay.
okay. So now my question is, one is we are talking about the players, we
Okay.
are talking about the
Tell me your
athletes.
angle.
How
What's your angle?
how im how important it is for the ecosystem, like having a female coach or the female physio or those things for the grassroots level, how important that is for the
Yeah.
parents to feel good, okay, that I'm sending my 8, 10, 12 year old girl to this coach, and I have a good female coach. I have a everything is handled by female. Is that still an angle playing big way, or it is not? Can't hear you.
First thing for a girl
Ah,
child, safety is topmost for her parents, right? Can't you? Okay. For a girl child and her parents, her safety is topmost importance, right? So anything that makes sure that their daughter is safe is always going to be a priority for them. And if I have a female coach with me, a good female coach, I'm not saying it should be just somebody that I picked up on the road, maybe, but a good educated female coach with me, then if I go to a parent and say, I have a woman coach and I can assure safety of your daughter, she's good, she's educated, she's certified, then the probability of parents sending their daughter to coaching or to play sport is higher than normal. And that is extremely important. First,
it,
at grassroots levels.
your
Secondly,
your your
I think
your network is
women
little
are
breaking.
naturally, I mean, if you're a mother or no, not.
I think your internet is little
Tell
unstable, so it
me if it
is.
is okay.
Yeah, the voice is coming, but I think your the lip sync is not happening.
Hello? Yeah. Is it okay now?
I can hear you well, but
Delayed.
yeah, it's delayed. It's like
It's
yeah,
delayed,
yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
voice is breaking. Okay, let's see. Well, I don't do.
that's what with
They
the live.
can't.
Anyways, I think let's we can close the eyes and see there is no lip sync happening. We can still hear you.
Okay. Uh, well, some of them are saying they can't hear me. Can you at least hear me properly? Let the video go
I
up.
can hear you very well.
Okay.
I can hear you very well.
Okay. So I think with grassroots, I think having a female coach or anything like a manager who is handling the entire academy, if that person is a woman, then obviously safety is an issue that concern is mainly gone, right? Secondly, women, as I was saying, women are naturally uh, not motherly, but they are empathetic,
Yeah.
right? So they know how to talk to young children or girls, boys, it can be anybody, but they know how to change their communication style according to the person in front of them. Third is women are motherly, whether you're a mother or not. We have that basic instinct to protect the children, right? So, in any case, we have that natural tendency to make sure that their child is safe and that it is looked after well. So, these are the basic things which are important when we are teaching grassroots level sports, because I think at grassroots level, it's not about skill, it is about children having fun, right? So we have to make sure that they actually do enjoy coming to the ground and they do enjoy playing. So we need somebody who can understand them. And women can do it better. I've seen it. But unfortunately,
I
there
don't argue with a
are
woman.
days. Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know. But unfortunately, said the ground reality is we don't have enough women at grassroots level. And we do need them because there is a demand right now. And even if there is a demand, I don't have the supply. So there is like this unevenness, or I don't know how to explain it, but there is a demand and we don't know who to go to. There are a lot of people who have approached me saying that we need a women's coach for XYZ sport. But I can't give them that contact because I don't have any. That's the ground reality. So I will encourage all women to get into coaching, get into managerial jobs in sports, because we need women at that level. We need women at all
Perfect.
levels, actually.
See, now you know
Honestly.
I led your grassroots question and the coaching question to commercial question, where you
Yeah.
yourself said that there is a demand but there is no supply. So we are
Yeah.
talking about women in sports, right? Uh,
Yeah.
oh, there is a question. Do you think encouraging mixed teams? See,
Yeah.
that's why it just went away. Okay. Uh, at the grassroots level would work in the favor. Honestly speaking, yes, I'm not from coaching background, but I feel which is very important to have a mixed team. I think the question came from Homi. Hi, Homi. We are- Mixed team. So in the club that we have here in Bane, we do train girls and boys together till the age of 12 and 13. I think that works very well because till that age, not much is changing, and I think the mentally girls are more stronger in the whole aspect, and that also helps. After 13, 14, I think the physicality start changing, and that's where the thing. But I still have a couple of girls in our club who are playing with under 14 boys. It's amazing, right? I don't know whether you remember. There's a girl called used to be a girl called Senorita who played for Pune FC, then FC Pune, and all those things. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
knew that. Like she was playing with killing it with under 30, under 10, under 12, under 14 boys. Like phenomenal. But yes, that
Yeah.
it helps to have a gender mixed teams, and that because again, any sport that you're playing, you have to have a competition.
Yeah.
If you're happy within, if you're content, you're not going to grow in sport.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give a bigger example that you if you're content you will not grow in life and all those things. Yes, let that be a different topic for other people. When you talk about sport, you can't be content. You need to be hungry. You need to be with. You need to have a competition. That competition is always fair. When you're talking about equality, the whole UN also talks about sustainable development goal. There has to be gender equality. How do you get the gender
Yeah.
equality? Is make them be together from that early age. Make them
Yeah.
understand. The boys need to the while growing up, and also what happens while if we do this in the growing up age, the boys also know how to be with the girl in the ecosystem.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
They know how the whole thing grows. So boys also get trained very well in this whole process mentally,
I
where
agree.
girls get trained mentally and physically both. So I think it's a good mix. Homie, good question,
Yeah.
and that. So I'll come back to the the earlier part that we were talking about, the commercial side. When we know there's a demand and supply problem, there are so many ex-athletes who are no longer associated with the games. Okay, so
Yeah.
how do you get them back on the field? They may be married, may have kids, they can't give full time. But what there may be other ways to getting them involved of 1 or 2 hours. So how do you see that you can actually go and uh, uh, motivate them to be on the field. I know so many of my friends who are national, international players and all those things, now married, have kids, have come back to start doing some kind of coaching and all. Yes, but it is not a big lot. We are talking about there's a big gap we are trying to fill. So how do we look at that? And can that not be again that I could not make a name supposedly for myself because the days were different, but now I have a chance to make a name again to be again wear the India jersey or the club jersey or something and showcase that what's the whole thing is all about. So for that, do you think that the celebrity athlete needs to come forward or celebrity coaches need to come forward and do something around it? Because me talking is like, okay, we are just putting the drop in ocean, right? But when we
Yeah.
say PV Sindhu talking about it, or say Mithali Raj talking about it, or the Indian women's team is having the Raman and Romesh Pawar and those kind of coaches. Yes, they are good. I'm not saying no. But what stops from Anjum Chopra to become the women's cricket coach? What stops the ex-cricketer to come and start the mindset, right? The talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Hey
absolutely,
Naman, how are
absolutely.
you? So it's so do you think the celebrities or the ex international players can actually play a big role? And if you get a chance, what is the two things that you will do about this?
Okay, so I have
You,
two pointers to that. Okay, my first point is just because you're an international player doesn't mean that you're a good coach, right?
yes,
And
agree.
this has been seen in football many times. Like for example, Pep Guardiola is one of the best coaches that we have seen out there, right? But he's not one of the best players that you would remember forever. You would still remember him as an excellent coach, right? So
Agree.
point number one, that there could be some women out there who are absolutely not, maybe they haven't been able to reach at top level, but they can be absolutely fantastic coaches, right? So we need to bring them out. We need to make sure that they know how to do it, right? And for that, I think the international players can play a big role to encourage such women to enroll in, let's say, coaching licenses, to go ahead and start applying for coaching jobs, start their own teams. So I think encouraging these women is an important job that these international players can do. They may or may not be good coaches themselves, I think. So I
Correct.
think they will definitely play a big role in bringing women. And I'm not just talking about coaching, I'm talking about all parts of women's sports.
The whole
There is a
ecosystem. Yeah,
requirement of, yeah, there's a requirement of physios, there's a requirement of sports psychologists, there's a requirement of somebody uh, like me, for that matter, somebody who's working in management side of the sports. In all sections of sports, we need women because we need diversity, we need a difference of opinions. That's how we grow. And if anybody can tell us how to grow women's sports, is women, right? So we need these women in, yeah, I mean, uh, we need these women to come forward and take active part in growing the ecosystem. And the current players, somebody like PV Sindhu, Anjum Chopra, like you said, can come ahead and encourage these women to, do something about it. It can be, I may go to Deccan Gymkhana in Pune and play cricket time to time. I may not be a Ranji player or international player for that matter, but I may have a great brain to coach the entire team, right?
yes.
I need to realize that, and who can make me do it? Who can make me think is these international players. So I think
No,
they play an important role.
yeah,
Absolutely, I mean, no two
what you're
ways
saying
about
is
it.
yeah, what you're saying is very apt, and that's where the grassroots development, women in sports as a ecosystem development, or the women coming ahead and playing different roles in the ecosystem, like management role or legal role or commercial roles, and all those roles also is very important, and that's what kind of brings back so what we are trying to do is just try to solve it. Okay, it's the puzzle. If it is that easy to solve the puzzle, then I don't think it would have been tough. But there are multiple aspects that are still missing pieces in the whole thing, because we are still talking about uh, other than IS IPL, no other sport is still making money. So then the women's sports comes. The IPL test wanted to do the women's IPL as well, but they are doing still doing the exhibition games. They have not
Yeah.
gone to even launch a full-fledged thing. So while we are working with those things, I've also, so my now other side of story that unfortunately it's a male dominant society. Yes, women have got maximum medals for India, that is there. But as a male dominant industry, that I may say, I may, yes, it's not, I'm not expecting a backlash here. I'm just making a statement. I may be wrong, but I'm just saying that if in that society, we also need to look at how do you get the sponsors attracted towards the game that women are playing, as well as the athletes that they're there. So, uh, yes, our industry goes with the sponsors are looking for somebody who is a brandable. They need to see
Yeah.
somebody who is marketable.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean say any player, any athlete, how whatever the color or whatever the size and shapes and everything, they have a amazingly different what do you say, aura around them, because it's the energy that they talk about. So
Yeah.
the sponsors, the brands also have to look at that side of it, what aura that they're bringing to the table, what kind of confidence they bring to the table. If you look at PV Sindhu, yes, it is not a best looking model that you have, but yes, she's an athlete, amazing athlete, good, amazing athlete structure, the physical structure that she has, and the confidence that she has. So it's a package we're looking at. We are not looking at say a Bollywood lady or a Bollywood actress who is meant to do that because she has to look good and good act be there. Here they have to look at the acting and everything else is secondary. For them, it is all about playing, and that is the confidence that they are getting. So for them to be ready for this, they also have to work towards the self-confidence. One of the best examples that we have is our girl. The cricket opener, the left-handed opener, man. Indian women's left-handed opener.
Uh,
How can I forget? How can I
Riti.
forget? Smriti, sorry, Smriti. See, this is bad, right?
Yeah.
So Smriti, I'll not, I'll not blame it on my knowledge about sports. I'll blame it on my age. So, anyways, yeah. So Smriti, right? Smriti came as a very shy girl. She's still a very shy girl, but the thing is, the aura that she has around her about. The kind of game that she had, the confidence that it's like Smriti walking in non-cricketing clothes and Smriti walking in the cricketing clothes. There's a difference about what Smriti is, right?
Absolutely.
But when we're talking about the pairing of Smriti and Jemima, okay, it's a fun part. Jamie is completely pulling her leg to
Opposite. Yeah.
get a different out of it, different thing out of it, and that
Yeah.
is the fun part of the sport, and that has to be done. People will web are been talking about the culture or the locker room culture of the main team and all those things, right? But we are also now we have to talk about locker room culture of the women team. I think the cricket has started showing it, and again, as I said, it's not about only BCCI, but it is about baseline having most of those athletes together. I think they are also building a good culture in those girls because they want them to be marketable because they are the marketing agency for them, right? So they also
Yeah.
want them to be marketable. So I think it is going in the right direction, but a lot needs to happen. Everybody jumped onto Hima Das and after the medal and everything. But what happened after that? We don't even see after her shoe came out. What is that after that? Because the thing is, even though her personality has to be developed by by people like you or me, or there are other people on the people who have joined on this group, most of them are sports background, sports management background, right? We have to work with these girls or these ladies towards making I'm not say polished product. I'm talking about a marketable product, because that is what they
Yeah.
have to be focused on, playing the game. Everything else has to be looked at properly. It's not always the
And
commercial side of it.
I want to ask you one question here, and I get asked this question a lot. So, lot of players are playing at, let's say, state, national level, and they are all looking for sponsorship. And I'm of the opinion that they all cannot get sponsorships.
Correct.
So, what is it, according to you, that a player should have apart from their skills? Of course, they need skills. What should the player have, qualities, characteristics, according to you, so that sponsors would look at them differently, or sponsors would take them seriously? According to you, just quickly, if you can.
Okay, so again, it was kind of working with MS Dhoni made it very easy for me to sell, right? You don't need to sell a person like
Yeah,
MS Dhoni.
yeah,
But while working at him, also I was learning what does a brand attribute means. How do you
yeah,
make yourself into a brand? Everybody's trying to make yourself into brand, and the generation which is currently working on multiple areas, they are also struggling with their identity on field and off field. On field they have a different identity, but off field they are struggling to maintain their identity in the social world. They need to be in face of people, but they don't know how it's going to be perceived. So we need to make sure that these girls or boys or whatever, I'm talking about the player at the state level, national level, who are good, their coaches needs to work with them towards handling their social profile, making sure they start speaking well. They start. I'm not talking about it has to be English or it has to be French or German or something, any language, but just you can't be the world is moving from being introvert to extrovert. You have जो दिखता है वही बिकता है,
yeah,
unfortunately. So you have to be
absolutely.
seen to be sold. Everybody is expecting that. There are multiple platforms who are helping, like Laksh Sports is doing phenomenal job. OGQ is working with the elite, but Laksh is playing a big role. We are talking about Go Sport doing a good job. The platform like Run Adam, who has which started by like MS is one of the co-founder in that company. Run Adam is doing a great job on supporting the athletes. Yes, it's right. If I'm not wrong, so almost 3,000-4,000 different athletes at the state level, national level are supported through the CSR from Run Adam, because now they have a platform where athletes can register themselves and put a request that okay, I need this, I need that. You won't imagine a player who went for Asian game and came back as now still asking for shoes for the training.
Yeah,
We have that kind of challenges as well. We are looking at other side of it. We are also looking at somebody like Mansi Joshi, right? She is a world number 2 world champion para badminton player. Welspun has done a great job supporting her, but at the same
yeah,
time, she works with the prosthetic leg, and her leg has to be
boss,
uh,
yeah, boss,
the leg has to be changed every 3 to 4 years, and that costs
yeah,
a lot. It costs a bomb.
yeah,
So for that also, if you have to struggle and suffer, then we are not going right direction. So the companies have to look at the CSR side of it. Company, the athlete has to look at the CSR of this company. You don't have to go to Infosys or TCS and the big companies to get lakhs and lakhs of rupees from CSR. Look at the nearby ecosystem. So sport is a community thing, right? The sports is a community. The the biggest problem about India, the sport has not become a community. So we have to make
mm,
sure it becomes a community. The coaches, those athletes, coaches has to make sure it's a community that gets built. The moment the community gets built, then the support starts pouring in. What stops in my in sorry the club that we have here, we also have some underprivileged kids, and those are being taken care by the other parents who can afford to
mm,
pay for their own kids. They're also paying for somebody the kid who can't afford. The crowdfunding model is so big, it's so amazing, right? So, but for everything, there has to be community that has to get involved, and the athlete that you're talking about, the state level or national level athletes, wherever they're from Sangamner, they're from Nasik, Nagpur, Buldhana, any part of India, anywhere, they have to make sure they work with the community. They have to
yeah,
be seen in the community and do something, give it back. Don't only wait for something to come to you. Do something from your side. Go to those schools and do those. You need to be hustlers.
yeah,
See, it's
absolutely.
as same as entrepreneurship, right? So we are talking about in entrepreneurship, the founders have to be hustlers. When you are building your own athletic career, you are an entrepreneur. So you have to hustle continuously and help people to make sure that help comes back to you. There's a question. Do you think Ministry of Sports should talk with the Ministry of Finance to introduce any special deduction section in income tax for sports spending on sponsorship? Uh, it is already, see, I'll not say it exactly there, but
There,
the CSR in sports is very much available. Any Olympic sport comes under CSR. And if you look at the women sports as well, because of women category, you can get more money as well. So it's a
exactly.
ATG a simple ATG certificate that works here, and you give money, you get 50% rebate on the money that you give. It's like giving for WWF for saving the animals. You can do that. Government has these multiple schemes which are running, but at the same time, any corporate can also do that. If I'm supporting athlete, suppose I'm paying 50 athletes for the year, instead of paying to directly the club, I can do that say through a foundation or an NGO, and that NGO can make sure that they can give me that. There has to be a transparent transaction. That is what government is expecting. There has to be
Yeah.
legit
And
transparent transactions. So those things are possible. And to answer your question again, in a one single thing after the whole thing is they have to make sure you're not going to get something by asking for it. You have to be there in people's face to get it.
yeah,
It is tough. It is not easy. It's easier said than done, but that is what the world is moving toward. That is what you need to ask for.
absolutely. I agree. And another thing from more technical point of view, you have to look at the athletes who have actually achieved or got sponsorship, and you have to look at their achievements also, because they have put in. I've been talking to so many of these athletes. I'm conducting webinars constantly every weekend, right? And I've been talking to these athletes who have reached international level: Ankita Rana, Manasi Joshi, Aditi Chauhan, Madhurika Patkar. These people have reached top level in the country, and the amount of effort and the achievements that they have, I think their achievements speak. So I think that is one thing to consider. Yes, you have to be in front of people always. One thing. Secondly, you have to keep achieving.
I see.
When you
Exactly.
are,
Its result speaks, right?
there is,
Finally,
there,
why
yeah, I mean,
cricket saw money? Because finally, when India team started winning and started showing the killer
exactly,
attitude and started showcasing, the money started pouring in. That is exactly what
exactly.
started happening in Kabaddi. The kind of interest is generated is saw. The why do you see the boom in badminton, right? It is because what Saina Nehwal
Got
did
the
and PV
money.
Sindhu were doing, or the Kashyap is doing, and others are doing. So it's a collective effort. The moment you see that you are there in top three in the world, I think you get the visibility and you get the eyeball. Media
Yeah,
24 by 7 is running, right? They need masala. They need
yeah,
news.
absolutely.
Use them.
And especially women's sports currently in media, I think is it's a hot topic, because I mean, if you like, you will do anything at state level, national level, and you will get media attention. So if you want to go beyond that, you have to be very consistent. And this is purely from the business perspective, because again, sponsorship is business. Because the people who are going to give you sponsorship, they are going to ask you questions, and you can't say that I am a player, you should not ask me questions. No. It's like any other business deal for them, and it is completely right.
Yeah.
And I am of that opinion, and I differ with many people when it comes to this subject. But I think all the players should have yearly, monthly business plan, like I do. Like when I registered women in sport, I had a business plan. Every player should treat their sporting
It,
career as their
it's
own
it's
business.
it's a startup. It's their own startup,
It's
right?
a
They have to
startup,
work. They have to
definitely,
work toward their own startup.
absolutely,
So
and that is something that, in addition to what you said, that is something that I would like to also
yes.
add to
Now I
it.
okay. So I think we've been there for last going on for last almost 45 minutes. So I just want to have
Oh my God,
yeah, yeah. So just couple of 2 3 minutes. Okay, there is a question.
there's
Do
a
you
question.
think yeah, do you think the Western Maharashtra farmers, or which farmer wealthy we can try and ask them for sponsorship, as due to lockdown many corporate might not be keen on sponsorship? So Sanket, I think this is a very specific question for the current specific situation. It is not only about farmers, it could be anybody. You need to show them what it means. You need to show them uh, why. See, why should they get involved is something that you have to tell them. Uh, it is not only about you give me money and I will try and play. No, as Vaidehi very well mentioned, that you have to show the performance. Go to them with the chart. Okay, last 2 years, 3 years, this is what is happening. Now the target is looking at 2021, 2023, 2025. These are the targets I'm working toward. This is my daily regime. This is my coaching plan. This is what, and this is what I need money for. And if I do this, this is what you can get in return. One is the satisfaction, one is the tax benefit, other thing is like आपका नाम बड़ा हो जाएगा, like in the typical the small towns that we're looking at. Yes, okay. should rules of any be compromised or changed in order to develop a sports commercially if required? I don't think so personally.
Yeah,
The
they do.
cricket, yeah, I think the cricket boundary is little smaller. It's not required, but I think you need to have more excitement or getting sixes. Only Harmanpreet shouldn't hitting the sixes. Everybody else also should hit the sixes. So so yes, but see, you're talking about football. You don't need to change the game rules. Hockey, you don't need to change the rules. Cricket is probably the only game where you need to change the rule. Every other sport is more of a it's an individual sport or played in the team of one or two. Bigger team level sports, we don't play rugby in India, so I don't talk about the rugbies and the NFLs and all those things. We unfortunately we play very less basketball as well. It will grow, but again the rules are need to change because you're by changing the rule you're trying to show that you are not good enough, which is not right. You
Hmm.
don't need to you need to talk about that. You have to make sure. That's why the earlier question from Homi was about the mixed team. I feel the training has to happen with the mix where the boundary should not, you should always be breaking the ceiling, right? You don't need to look at the boundary. You don't have to worry about who is doing what and I can't hit there, I can't do that, I can't. No, you are putting the boundaries on yourself the moment you say, okay, I need to change the rules, I need to have a smaller ground, I need to do this. No, it is not required. And ask any female athlete, and she will say, no, we don't need to do that. I think that is
I
what
think,
they are.
yeah, I think on this question, I have one comment, and I think this has been discussed probably in football. I think this has happened already in cricket with Test cricket, One Day cricket, and T20. So the timing of the game, according to me, because we all are now losing our attention span. It's about 8 seconds now. It's lesser than goldfish. Um, so I think that timing of the game is something that can be changed if you want to keep people interested. And that is purely for the commercial uh, aspect, like you have asked, to keep people engaged with the game, I think. And that has nothing to do with whether the sport is women's sport or men's sports. I think it's about audience. So I think that timing is something that can be changed, and people have been like at FIFA level and stuff. They have been thinking about making a football match of 60 minutes or so. So maybe, but it depends on what federations think
Correct.
and
And if it has to happen, it has to be gender neutral. It shouldn't be
yeah,
for a particular gender. That is
no, no,
what my thing is. My thing is about it shouldn't be if it's happening, make the change for every gender. It is
yeah,
not men's and
agree.
women. So also tennis having three sets for women and the men having five sets. I don't. Again, it's a debatable topic. But why? Is what it's again, and it is not about the strength of women. It is about the broadcaster rights and the interest of the game and
Yeah,
people want to see a Federer Nadal five setter going to the tiebreaker for every set. But at the same time, they may not see the Serena playing against somebody else and winning the 6-0 6-0 6-0 games. So
yeah,
there are
exactly.
so there are things which are already happening in the market which are towards commercial, but I don't think we need to change the rules more. I think we need to make sure that we look at the gender equality far seriously and get the people work together at the very young age and make sure that the mental barrier is broken, the taboos are broken, and it is like not he she. It is like if you're talking about heroes, there has to be sheroes as well, right? So we are talking about that is what we need to look at.
There's a question comparing
What could be the reason?
with other states number
Comparing
of
with northern state, number of athletes from the southern state is low. What is the reason? Again, uh, Vaidehi can have her own view. My view is simple. It is one is the weather, and the second is the focus on the academics which are given. Like if you go to southern states, you're talking more focus towards the academics. You're very traditional on the academic side, where northern side is more of a people are more outdoor. I'll say outdoor means does not mean that they go and do outdoor activities, but they are towards the sports. The physical structure also is more stronger north to south. It's like that is what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying the north people in north are not academic oriented, but compared to south, yes, it is less. So we see if you're asking the same question about the academic intent, you will reverse the table and ask the same question. So that's why I
Yeah.
sometimes say that it is good to be in Maharashtra.
I agree. I agree. Education is one of the important reasons why we see less athletes in southern states of India. Because as you go north, many of the athletes are dependent on sports for their jobs. Because when they reach national level, they get government jobs, right? We all, like everybody in India, gets a government job. So I think that because education is little less important in northern states of India, they often look at sports as their means of survival or means of getting job. So I think that is why the number of somebody saying that's not true. I would like to know what the reason is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that is one of the reasons that I mean that has been my observation. I may be wrong. Please educate me about
Okay,
the.
so I think
Okay.
explaining the answer. So okay, so while I think in last 5 minutes of the session, I just want to ask you one thing. So how do
Yeah.
you see sports after COVID?
This is the question actually I wanted to ask you. I think more than
So I got a one
okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that for some time will be affected, probably next 5 to 6 months. But my observation is lot of tournaments, lot of events are going to start all together at one time. So I think it's going to be very, very crowded in the second half of the year. And yes, there are some events which have been cancelled and all, but I think that will get back to normal soon. The sports industry, I see it getting back to normal soon. So that's the way I see it. What about you?
Yes. Okay, so I obviously I have a similar take. It's you if you're dependent on this industry, you want that industry to come back. We know a lot of industry just is surviving. Unfortunately for India, sports is not must have. It is something good to have. So I
Yeah,
think it will be the last one of the last industries. Like sports and entertainment, recreation will be the last industries to open up. So gyms, fitness clubs, stadiums, and the malls and multiplexes will be probably the last thing that opens up. Also, it's going to be a different norm, that different life. The new normal is going to come in, and a lot of things are going to be. Even the athletes have to train themselves about how to play in an empty stadium.
yeah,
Possibly, you never know because some athletes said no. What is the fun of playing without empty stadium? But you also have to understand if there is a game happening, that means the broadcaster is putting in money there. The moment broadcaster is putting in money, that means the money is coming into the sport. So the sport is surviving. So if you play without fan for some time, doesn't matter. Yeah, for
mm,
it is just a short term solution that you need to look at. There are other things. I think the fan engagement is going to be more and more. A lot of people are doing a lot of fan engagement activities right now, or building,
guys,
getting ready for
we
the whole.
have about 10 seconds. I don't
Okay,
normally have
perfect.
time to talk going
So
for
perfect.
this
So from that,
long.
I'm going to stop. The life after COVID is going to be phenomenal.